is mainly is paragraphs 266 to 283, and the topic is prophecies versus future events that happens. That is to say, to make it tangible for those of you who want to use Íqán for a here and now concept, not as a book which is only written for a group of people in the past. This is what the concept is in these paragraphs that I mentioned. Does the prophecy, whether it is by Daniel, whether it is by John, revelation of John, whether it is by Nostradamus, whether it is by Muhammad, does really prophecy means that the future events took place, will take place exactly as it has been outlined? And if you answer yes, the question is, what does it mean and how free will actually operates? Do you understand the question first? If I can predict fully what Philip is going to do from the day that he is coming out of the womb of his mother until the 500 years that he is going to live in this world. So is that good, Philip? 500 is good enough, so don't complain. Does every action of Mr. Philip has been determined by the prophecy? I give you another one. Right now in social media, majority of you get text, over bombarded by text. Shoghi Effendi has said this, Shoghi Effendi has said that, Iran is going to be like that, the world is going to go under. Does it really? Because Shoghi Effendi says it, the world goes under? If Shoghi Effendi says it, if Daniel says it, if John's revelation says, then why are you lamenting over what's happening? Why are you not overjoyed? Why we are complaining? Do you understand the concept, Philip? How does prophecy is going to play into the day-to-day life of the future generations? In particular, Bahá'u'lláh, within paragraph 266 and 283, refers to 15 traditions that tries to predict what is going to happen at the time of the promised one. So the question, after you read all these, that comes to your mind, because Muhammad and the Imams have predicted what happens, is that really the reason why it happened? Or there is another dynamic that we have to watch? Okay, let's see, who should I pick up? Hutan is sleepy. Unmuted.
I'm awake. I
Yeah.
think you asked for my opinion. I think, I think what we refer to as the will of God or Mashiatullah is a set goal, but the way we get to it might not be exactly as probably the prophecies have prophesied, but we will eventually reach that point where it has been the will of God. For instance, if
Let's see. You're very religious with them because you come from back east, and majority of them are very religious people. We love God, all this good. That's good enough. But I have some people here who are not as orthodox and as very, very devoted to what is called the will of God. Let's first make it simple. Tamrat, are you with me?
okay.
A sleepy Tamrat, are you with me? Say, when Abdul Baha or Bahá'u'lláh or the Bab, Fahima Khanum, say something happens, does their knowledge causes the occurrence of that event, or because they have a universal knowledge, they can predict the alternative outcome based on the path that humanity chooses?
It's the second one.
The second one, Tamrat?
Yes, I do agree. Yeah.
Hey man, you are walking too much. Tell me. So when the people,
Sorry, I have to go step out 2 seconds.
it's okay. You can step up, a step down. That's okay.
Somebody just was at the
Philip, do you get? See, I got your email too, by the way. But do you see what am I saying? Does Baha'u'lláh, when he talks about the future of the world, because he says it, the world goes into chaos, or because of the path that humanity has chosen, Baha'u'lláh, in his vast knowledge of conscious world and unconscious world, can predict outcome? Philip, say something. Don't shake hand. Head.
I'd say it's the second one. And my thoughts, I predict in the future the House of the Bab in Shiraz will be rebuilt and be an honored place. I don't know when that's going to be, but in the future that will happen. I'm not making that happen, but I believe that to be the case.
Beautiful. See, now you are one of those people like Daniel. You look like Daniel. But do you see where am I? Mehdad, do you see where am I doing? You have to conceptualize this concept of prophecy, while you should also uphold the free will of humanity. If you say, Kamra, if you say, Baha'u'lláh does every action that I do, then you have to explain, so what are you doing besides being a robot? And the way that Baha'u'lláh and Abdul Baha answer is that no, Abdul Baha has a big chapter in some answer question. He says our knowledge on something does not cause that thing to happen. You understand? Ilm be shay sabab husul be shay nis. I only said it in Farsi because I know Philip only understands Persian. But please pay attention very carefully, Shirin Khanum. That is to say, Bahá'u'lláh in paragraphs that I mentioned talks about, for instance, when the Qa'im appears, meaning promised one, he says in paragraph 266, he says, although I never wanted to mention traditions, I do not want to mention what has been told in the past, but because of the love that I have for you as a recipient, I am going to recall some of the traditions that have been told in the past. And then he starts to talk about, in 267, he starts to say that the reason that I am doing that is my hope is that the people start to reflect, because reflection for an hour reflection is more worthy than 70 years of pious worship. It is paragraph 267. So what is he going to do, Fahime? What is he trying to do? He says, I am bringing all these, but my hope is that you look at this tradition in a reflective manner. Now, please pay attention. He says from some of the traditions, for instance, in 267, he says, when he manifests himself, the West and the East shall curse him. Do you believe in that to have happened so far? Kamrat, do you believe that when the Bab manifests, these are all about Bab, by the way, did the people of the West and the people of the East actually cursed him? I say the original, for those of you who are in tune with Arabic, such as Nabil, is a Zaharat Rayatahul Haq La'anaha Ahl al-Shaq wal-Ghaq. When he raises his call, the people of the West and the East shall curse him. Because Muhammad said it, or Imam said it, the Bab was cursed. That is what you have to entertain in your mind. And link it to why Baha'u'lláh says, hey, Habib, 1 hour of thinking is better than 70 years of pious worship. Do you see that passage? So, Tamrat, why do you think Baha'u'lláh immediately after that tradition brings that passage?
Yeah, I think because the the notion that this tradition always is something which ties the people, which is like a suffocating influence on people. So he wants to break that. He wants to tell them, you know, if the river is going south, I'm telling you to go north. So that tradition has to be broken first for people to understand what his message is.
See, you are very philosopher now tonight. Calm down to my level. Let's see. Baha'is of Victoria or Victorville, or what was it? Say something, my friend.
Victorville.
Okay, Victorville.
So 1 hour's reflection is preferable to 70 years of pious worship. Why did Baha'u'lláh say that? Or the Bab?
Hey, do not create trouble for me. We didn't say why Baha'u'lláh said it, why Baha'u'lláh didn't say it.
Yes, yes.
What I am saying is this, because see, Nabil over there is taking a note of who is saying Baha'u'lláh said this, Baha'u'lláh didn't say that. See, we are trying to say, in the beginning, the first tradition that Baha'u'lláh brings is the tradition that he says, when the promised one manifests itself, East and the West go against him, right? Kamrat?
Yes.
Okay. So, immediately after it, Baha'u'lláh says, an hour of reflection is better than 70 years of pious worship. Why do you
Because-
think immediately
Because
during
we need to do independent investigation of the truth.
beautiful? See, you are a good Baha'i. Nabil, what are you saying?
I think, Habib Jan, it's mixture between both. It's the fact that I'm answering your first question. The fact that Baha'u'lláh said it, but also humanity is set on this path that we are taking. We are not having progressive understanding of the progressive revelation. We are going somewhere contrary to what Baha'u'llah's heart would like us to be. As you pointed out in a beautiful way last time, you said that the major plan of God is documented in the writings of Baha'u'lláh. Here it is. This is the writings of Baha. I love this. As for this question, I think he's saying that there are more than one level, and we need to reflect and really search our hearts about what does it mean. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. See, I told you, Nabil is my Arab friend, Arab that shows me that the reality of man is not Arab or Ajam. It's a Baha'i, it's a human. See, Baha'u'lláh, I don't know. See, the answer to that question, Fahima, I don't know really what Baha'u'lláh had in his mind. But I know, at least for me, that Habibullah, Puki, don't take these statements linearly, nor to confine its meaning to your understanding. Because based on your maturity, Tamra, based on Habib's maturity, the meanings of these passages evolve. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So, please pay attention. He says, when you continue, Baha'u'lláh starts to interpret the hadith, because this is a tradition, it's not a verse of Quran. And he tells you why, when he appears, West and the East go against him. He says, for instance, the reason is that he tries to break some rules. He tries to change some of the rules and traditions, habits that all the people have gotten used to it. So do you see, Nabil, how does he create a context for us to understand? And it is true. Why do you think the people eventually don't like the message of Baha'u'lláh? It's not because they have a personal problem with Mirza Hussain Ali. They do not have a problem because you are a Baha, you are another human being. But because what Baha'u'lláh says somehow undermines their thinking, their value, their tradition, they start to go against it. Is that really for only promised one of the Baha'i Faith? Or this can be used as a general principle for everyone who speaks the truth? Hayam? Makes sense? Payam, sleepy payam. Okay. Jalil, do you see what am I saying? That when the manifestation of God appears, it is actually a revolution within an evolution, as we discussed last time. And that shakes humanity. And therefore, the people go against it. But because they said it, the people go against it, or because the people did not think and reflect, it led to that outcome. You see, Nabil, how did I took these two? On one hand, he predicted it. On another hand, he gave you what does that means. And on the third hand, he said the reason that the people did that, because they never thought about revelation, the purpose of revelation. In fact, purpose of revelation is to create change. Because if he comes and does not change the structure, then why does he come? You understand? Merdad Khan, you are eating too much, but pay attention. See, look at another one. I want to just go on 269. He says, where is the one who is going to change all the traditions? I paraphrase in my own word. Who is the one who is going to change the habits of the nation and all the religions? What is he talking about? Parvana Khanum. Parvana Khanum is sleepy. What is he saying on 269? Say it before I go to Saeed. Say it. No? Okay. Flip? No? Okay. Rocco? Rocco June.
Yes, sir.
What do you think he means in 269?
I'm trying to find 269. My book doesn't have paragraphs.
Okay, so I read it again. Basically, it's quoting another tradition, which Muhammad is quoted by the Imams, or the Imams have quoted one after another, which he says there is someone who is going to change everything. Change your habit, change your tradition, change your Sharia. Now, and then look at it. On 270, he says, when the promised one comes, he starts to create something as Muhammad did and try to destroy what it was before him. What is he saying really here? Shirin Khanum? Shirin Khanum, do not sleep, my friend.
So, yeah.
No?
So the traditions, so these messengers like Bahá'u'lláh, the Bab, and Muhammad, they come to change, and people are not used to it, so they are against it.
Okay, very good, Shirin Khanum. Let's see. Kamrad, is that only for Bahá'u'lláh, or this is a general rule?
No, this is a general rule. It's like lighting candle in darkness. So for them to say that he's pointing out, Baha'u'lláh is pointing out to the followers, don't be bound by the traditions. These are meant to be changed. These are social change, social laws that will not have an eternal existence. So he came to change all that.
Excellent. Ilham Khanum Ta'id, what are you saying? Say something. You have a shining face, so you have to say something. No? Harvis? No? Okay, what happened to these people? Let's see. Mahdo Khanum, say something. Okay. I'm not going to call on Neda because Anahita, can you say something? I know that you had asked many questions from me. Do you believe that actually one reason that the people go against the manifestation of God, whether it is Bob, whether it is Jesus, or for that matter, the people do not like to break habits?
Sure.
What is that?
Yeah, I agree. That's true. It's hard to break any habit we can see in our daily lives. So much less when you're used to something for thousands of years. It's understandable that it will be takes more time and more open-mindedness to understand.
Okay, so then can we say when you compare these three passages, Baha'u'lláh on one hand also gives the resolution and answer. If you think on your own, as Fahim said it, if you understand the purpose of revelation, then you will not be dumbfounded if he comes and change the tradition. And you actually pay the consequences because you got used to the traditions or even your religion. You liked Muhammad so much that you became too attached to Muhammad that you forgot about the mission of Muhammad. Am I making sense, Tamra?
Yeah, yes, correct, yes.
You love the manifestation, but you forget that the manifestation came that you get involved and in love with his progressive message, not even the message itself. Makes sense? So now I ask my question. Yes, Fahime.
Yeah, or could it be, looking at it this way, that the truth has always been there, the manifestation brings new meaning to it?
You can say that, of course, because that goes with what Krishna used to say, what Taoism say, that nothing really changes in the world, but our perspective on reality changes. In order for me to even show that, in another tradition that Baha'u'lláh in 270, he says, please pay attention. He says in a book called Abalem that Baha'u'lláh is quoting, he says there shall appear a youth from Bani Hashem that appears with a new book and new law. I am paraphrasing for simplicity. Please pay attention to it. What is it saying? Many people say, is this tradition? If this tradition is true, should we object to Bob and Baha'u'lláh for bringing new laws? Huh? Bart, what do you say? Yes or no? No, because see, it is so why then clergies are still upholding that one reason that we do not accept Bab or Baha'u'lláh is because they actually brought new Quran, brought new Bayan. And Baha'u'lláh tells them, listen, The same prophet that you believe in. It says the promised one, when he comes with a new book, new order. And then he even, please pay attention, he says, and majority of his enemies are clergies. Why is that? Mr. Nabil, Mr. Hutan, you raise your hand. Yes, you go ahead.
Okay, I think the answer is actually at the bottom of 269, where Baha'u'lláh says, he refers to, I think, a tradition that he says, he will perform that which Muhammad, the messenger of God, had performed, and will demolish whatever had been before him, even as the messengers of God had demolished the way of those that preceded him.
Yes,
So
I quoted that.
this act of demolishing is a threat to the clergy of the present time, and that's the reason for opposition and animosity.
Hutan.
Yeah.
Let's link it to the earlier comment made by Tamrat, that Muhammad or Bab or Baha'u'lláh, they only abolish, if you will, those social laws that are not useful anymore for the age.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Because in the fundamental verities, now I am using Shoghi Effendi's term, fundamental verities of Islam, Judaism, Bahá'í Faith is the same.
Yeah.
Make sense? So now when you go into 270, he talks about the fact that he comes with a new book and a new laws. And the clergies will be his bitter enemy. When you link it to that passage that it says, if you think for an hour is better than 70 years of pious worship, don't you conclude that these clergies, at the minimum, they never think about fundamentals? Tamrat, am I saying anything bad?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
The clergies.
Yes.
Saeed, Saeed, where are you? Saeed Khadibian. Okay. When they don't talk, that means please leave me alone. I leave you alone. That's fine.
We have a hand up. Mr. Golshani has had his hand up for some time.
Okay, I thought go for it.
Isn't it evolution? All of these prophecies, they fulfill some type of evolution in their time. So automatically, everything in the past should be abolished in order that we go to the next step of evolution.
Exactly. In fact, this is a spiritual evolution, isn't it?
That's what I think.
Exactly. And even Baha'u'lláh says if there should not be such a change, then why do we need these people in the first place anyway? Jalil, make sense? Make sense, Victor Bill? Baha'u'lláh says if there is no evolution, if Muhammad says, he says, ladies and gentlemen, hello, how are you? I just came to tell you Jesus was right. You maybe say, okay, fine, but do we really need you to come and tell us this? You see that? Baha'u'lláh, read this. See how do I connect them? Tamrat, the only thing that I'm doing, I am connecting these passages to the critical thinking skills that you need to develop, because, my dear friends, do you see how good you understand the previous people who failed, you have to also understand, we need to watch it in our own faith. Isn't that right, Shirin Khanum? Because remember, Tamrat, don't tell that to anybody, but I only share it with you and Nabil, because he is my friend. Baha'u'lláh, in fact, in his writings, he says, please don't do unto him what you did to me, please. Why do you think he says that? Mr. Payman, if it is rosy-dozy, everybody understands Íqán.
Because
He says that.
he's hoping that Baha'is won't do the same thing to the next one, to the next manifestation of God.
Couldn't it be, Mr. Farshad Jahid, couldn't it be that we ourselves who preach, we can actually fall into the same category with different set of reasoning?
Absolutely.
Is it? Nabil, what do you think?
I think self-righteousness could seep into our conscience, because when we sit with other people, we say, I have the solution, you don't have the solution. I know, you don't know. So it could permeate our conscience in not a good way at all.
Beautiful, beautiful. Barb, what are you saying? Why you don't say anything, Barb?
I am saying I tried going backwards and be a Christian for the sake of my Christian daughter, and I ended up really hurting myself pretty bad. So I'm going to be Baha'i. I'm going to stay in this day and age. Thank you.
Well, see, I tell you. See, the Barb said it very good, Jalil. Do not sleep, Jalil. See, Baha'u'lláh has a tablet called Tablet of River. Sahife Shattiye, Janab Nabil. That was an early tablet in Baghdad, Mr. Tamrat. And in this tablet, you can see, if you know the original, you can see it on the Ocean of Lights, best known work of Baha'u'lláh. If you want to see the summary of it, go to the Revelation of Baha'u'lláh, Volume 1. Hadib gives you a good summary. Baha'u'lláh looks at this river, which is Tigris, Dejle. And then he said, look at this river. It just runs its natural course. Nothing can prevent its advancement. He says, my revelation is like this river. Anybody who wants to stand in front of it, it just promotes its forces. Makes sense? Now see, link it with another tablet of Baha'u'lláh, quoted by Shoghi Effendi, Promised Days Come, when he says, my revelation advances through two forces. A'da'i means my enemies, and Ahibba'i, and my friends. Make sense? Now look at this, Tamrat. I tell you this, but don't tell anybody. Don't go to your cluster and quote me. Baha'u'lláh says, my problem never has been my enemies. My problem always has been my friends. He says, these friends, they cling to some ideas, but in reality, they never have understood me. And maybe that passage, Nabil, when he says, I don't fear for myself, but the one who comes after me. That means Habib, Tamrat, Bhutan, members of institution, watch it. Do not conceive your ideas that you cannot change it dynamically and organically. Try to think, reflect. meditate, because Baha'u'llah's revelation is about change. Change on the way you think, change on the way that you feel. You see that, Tamrat?
Yeah.
And
Mr. Riazati.
some people say, no, Habibullah, don't even say that. Why? Because when the next revelation comes, Mr. Nabil, Habib shouldn't be worried, because we have a universal house of justice, right, Tamra? And then next manifestation comes to the house and says, hey, my friends, this is your last session. From now on, I'm in charge. Huh? This is the way it works. Yes, Nabil, go for it. See, I'm asking difficult questions now.
Sometime would you please help me not to fall in this trap? So what can I do in my real life in order not to fall in this trap? You know, like Azada is daughter of a martyr, you know, and I hear the people say, I'll give my life for Baha'u'llah, but I'm not going to give up my opinion. You know, so help me here. How can I embed this in my heart and soul that I don't fall into this trap in day-to-day life?
Beautiful question. Let's see. I have to pick up on someone. Jalil is sleeping. I have nothing to do with them. Let's see. Elham, you not going to say anything?
Mr. Riazati.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Yes. Hey, I'm go for it.
Let's go. I'm just referring to what you were saying. In many of my classes with young adult and youth and Baha'is, they all, majority, they think the same way, that next manifestation of God will be recognized by the Universal House of Justice. So Baha'is, they have no worries in a sense. So please, if you could enlighten.
Okay. Lilian Khanam, go for it before I pick up on Hushan.
I think
اول بذارین لیلیان بره ببینید زنها اولن حسین خان اذیت نکن لیلیان بره.
I think some of the answers to that particular question is here in 272. It says knowledge is 27 letters. All the prophets have revealed are 2 letters thereof. No man thus far had known more than these 2 letters. So the comprehension that we have is this much. Now answering the question that I think Payman brings up is that we are looking at the cycle of religion. If when the other manifestation comes is that the moment of decadence of a religion. So when it goes to the extreme awful situation of mankind, then that after 1,000 years, that person will come and God knows what they're going to do to him. But the issue here, going back, is I have this question also that how much of our understanding, our own personal understanding, we can rely on.
Beautiful.
Because if each one is going to interpret it differently, then which one is closest to the truth?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, Lilian Khanum is 3 hours ahead of us and she's sharper than anybody here. So let's see, Hushain Khan, what do you say? Hushain is one of the independent thinkers and truth seekers after the truth. Hushain Khan بفرمایید.
Sorry, با سلام. من تازه جوین کردم، زیاد توی یعنی توی کل مطلب نیستم. اگر اجازه بدین من ساکت بشینم و گوش بدم.
Excuse me, we have English speakers online.
Oh, sorry. I just joined. I'm sorry. I just joined the meeting and I am not well known. I mean, know about this stuff. So if you don't mind, I stay silent and listen tonight only.
You're so kind. You're so kind. I am not going to pick up on you anymore.
No, do. Please do. I love when you pick up on me. But tonight, please.
Very good. Let's understand what Lillian pointed. Kamrat, I'm trying to answer that question of Mr. Nabil and Payman. I am trying to say I do not want to answer that. Why? Because whatever we say, we comprehend about the future of humanity is based on our understanding today, not about the new race of man that Bahá'u'lláh is trying to create. Makes sense? We even cannot imagine the challenges of 800 years from now. Do you see that, Tamrat? Maybe, Nabil, when I put this together, I say, don't try to make some kind of conclusion by reading that passage that I fear for the one whom comes after me. Maybe that is only a warning for me as an individual to train my mind and my heart and my soul to do not entertain anything but fundamental verities. Because the next manifestation shares the same objective that Bahá'u'lláh has. That is the unification of human race. This is where they say 500,000 years. But as far as the social laws is concerned, the next manifestation has the full authority to change what Bahá'u'lláh in Aqdas has revealed. He says if the people understand these realities, they do not bother the next manifestation. That doesn't mean that House of Justice will, how does it react? We even do not know these things. Do you know why not, Tamrat? Because we even do not understand the connection that the house has as an institution with this twin manifestation. It is a mysterious phenomenon. This is why I personally asked several members of the house, Adib, Mr. Naqshbandi, Mr. Fatah Azam, tell me a little bit about what's happening in that chamber. He said, Habib, we even do not know really. We only know that we have to become a hollow reed. We only have to become detached. And suddenly something comes. Do you see that, Tamrat? It is not that we can predict, but we know because the house is a channel to Bahá'u'llah's will. For sure, the dynamic will be different from the one that we have set in the past. Why? Because this is for the first time Bahá'u'lláh himself has ordained the institutions. That doesn't mean that the members of the institutions are divine, Nabil. That doesn't mean that members of institution do not need to grow. But the institution in itself is built by the divine will. Do you understand these concepts? Anybody has any question?
We have two questions. Number one is Mr. Golshani. Number two, Mercy. Mr. Golshani, go ahead of it.
Thank you. don't you think that because the past millenniums, humanity committed so many atrocities to manifestations of God repeatedly? What do you think? Why do you think that Baha'is will not do the same thing to the next manifestation of God, despite of having all of these rules and
Beautiful. See, Merda Jun.
After all, we are all human, and we're going to do the same thing to the next manifestation of God. That's what I believe. For sure, we're going to do the same thing, or even much worse.
Okay, see, Merda Jun, the reason, because you are a fortune teller, and because you see the future so well, especially that you cleaned your window now, I can see you. See, I hope that the world is not that mechanical. In fact, what Bahá'u'lláh is saying tells me all depends on how the Baha'is behave. If we become fundamentalists like others, we just change the name from Jesus is the only way, rest and others are the highway, then yes, you have the same set of problem. But see, the reason that you enjoy being a Baha'i is because a new dimension have opened. Is not because, God forbid, Jesus was not the only way. Because when Jesus be taken as a reality, of course there is no distinction between any of the manifestations of God. Do you see that? So the answer to you, Mehrdad, has to do with the degree of the maturity, degree of education, degree of critical thinking. Again, I am going to invite you to pay attention to the original framework that Baha'u'lláh established. Think for an hour is better than busy yourself with so many activities. Do you see where am I going, Hutan? It all is about individual. If we act the way that we are acting, yes, if he appears today, we tell him, hey, buddy, go home sooner than you came. But he's not coming today. My thinking is, we shouldn't be worried about that. My thinking is, let's worry about here and now. Let's read Íqán, let's read the other books, and see what the previous people did. And we, on a daily reflection, try not to do the same thing. Do you see that? Do you see where am I going? Method is all depends on us. It all depends on me as an individual, as a community, and as an institution. If I, as an institution, member, think the same way that the circle of clergies in Iran think, we haven't made any changes. So rather than be certain, Mehrdad, say hopefully the people of Baha will reflect on the bloods of 20,000 martyrs. And then they ask why they shed their life. And then you say, let me do something to be worthy of the next generation. Now, let me go.
We have one more question. Mershid has been waiting for some time. Mershid, do you have a question?
Mershid Khanum Kojo. What happened?
No questions?
He sent it as a chat.
Yes, I have a question, but Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
Yes, I am hearing you.
Okay. First of all, my book doesn't have the chapters the way that you are telling us. So can you go with the page so I don't get lost?
See, I am already lost because I see you lost, but listen.
No, I understand. I have been listening and I have some question besides that.
I am kidding with you, but I think we offered you the parallel translation. Didn't we, Farshad?
The parallel translation is part of the message that goes out every week.
Okay. And this parallel translation, unfortunately, Mashid Khanum, I cannot go with the page because different publications have different pages.
Yes.
That's my dilemma.
I post the link for her.
Okay, see, Nabil taking care of Arab and Ajam, so this is why I like him. But understand my dilemma. The best way to go is paragraph number, and I suggest you use the latest publication of Íqán by the Bahá'í World Center.
I see. That's why I don't have it.
Also, Habib, I posted from Bahá'u'lláh.com.
Yes.
Because that Bahá'u'lláh.com has a page number and paragraph number on the same page, and it's always relied on the American publication of Íqán, not the British one.
Okay.
So if you look at the link in there now, it will show you Bahá'u'lláh.com writing in the chat.
Okay.
So it is, yeah, just go in there, and we're on page about 239, 240.
Nabil,
yeah.
Can you send it to the host that he can share it with everyone? And my hope is that Lillian also get it, that we may look at it and see if we can post it on the Ocean of Flies if it meets our standard.
Okay, I'll send my copy.
Okay, so what was your question now,
my question was that when Shoghi Effendi was in Kitáb-i-Íqán, was not accepted with all the Baha'is, and some became covenant breaker. Although they were announcing that they were Baha'is, they did not accept Shoghi Effendi to be interpreter of the word of Baha'u'lláh and Abdul Baha. So that is one of the trials that we had in previous years, and we probably are going to have more the years to come. The only way is that we have to be more, as you mentioned, be a true seeker and read more and study more in order to understand and differentiate what is the right thing and what is our own ego.
Beautiful, beautiful. See, first of all, for only the matter of historical facts, Shoghi Effendi station has been mentioned in Will and Testament of Abdul Baha Abbas.
Yes.
I think the test came, now see Nabil, a new dimension about the one who come after me. Many people took that passage of Baha'u'lláh to not look at the next manifestation, rather to the immediate successors that come after him, that the people denied them. And it was Abdul Baha and it was Shoghi Effendi that clarified for us that to know these passages for the next manifestation. Now, yes, it is true, Mashid Khan. The true follower of Baha'u'lláh had to accept Abdul Baha Abbas, right?
Yes.
How? Not by guessing rather by relying on the will and testament of Baha'u'lláh, which is called Kitáb-i-Íqán, right?
Yes.
Now, the test began, Janab Nabil, Janab Tamrat, when the will and testament of Baha'u'lláh opened the avenue to test the believers. Why? Because in that documentation, which in 2 nights we mostly read that, the will and testament of Baha'u'lláh, Kitáb-i-Íqán, how does it go, Tamrat? After me is Abdul Baha, right? The most great branch. After Abdul Baha, who can sleepy? Who is the successor? Don't say Shoghi Effendi. No, Mirza Muhammad Ali, the younger brother.
Yes.
You see that, Mercy?
Yes.
So the test began. The test not only began for a ordinary Baha'i, Tamrat, it also began for a giant scholars in the Baha'i Faith, such as Mirza Abul-Fazail Golpaigani. When they went to Abdul Baha Abbas, Murshid, pay attention to this.
Yes.
They went to Abdul Baha Abbas and said, for God's sake, your father has appointed Mirza Muhammad Ali after you. Why then you are not favorable of him? Do you understand, Tamrat? See now what am I saying? Baha'u'lláh predicted something, but that prediction didn't come true unless certain condition had to be met, Tamrat. So Abdul Baha Abbas tells Mirza Abul-Fazl Nabil in a tablet which is called Lawh Hazar Baiti, tablet of 1,000 verses, addressed to Mirza Abul-Fazail Golpaigani, that the reason is called tablet of 1,000 verses, Tamrat, is because of length of this tablet, which is about 60 pages. And in that tablet, Nabil, Abdul Baha lists the misbehaviors of Mirza Muhammad Ali. And then it says, yes, Baha'u'lláh predicts something, but that is conditional. You see that, Tamrat, or not? That means after Abdul Baha, easily Mirza Muhammad Ali could have come if he had been obedient, not only to Baha'u'lláh, rather to Abdul Baha Abbas. Now, when he didn't meet the condition, please pay attention, Tamrat, because Mirza Muhammad Ali did not follow, chose to do something contrary, then what happened? Abdul Baha Abbas said, no, you go away, and Shoghi Effendi comes. Make sense?
Yes.
You see that? Now this type of test can come about. Maybe, Tamrat, don't tell anybody, only tell Lillian, but don't tell anybody else. The tests are always with us, ladies and gentlemen. Baha'i faith is a faith of test for the people to be distinguished. Test that we will have from the members of institution, from the scholars, but we have one remedy. Follow the guidance of the Universal House of Justice if you want to be safeguarded. I highly recommend to you to read another tablet called Tablet of Holy Mariner, Lawh Mallahul Quds. This tablet was so famous, so unique, so future-oriented that Baha'u'lláh revealed it in 2 languages, Persian and Arabic. Fahima Khanum, it is not the translation of one another. There are 2 unique tablets. And do you know, Tamrat, what does that say? In short, because Baha'u'lláh knows you do not have time to spend so much time. He is predicting the future. He calls himself a holy mariner, right?
Yes.
Baha'u'lláh is a holy mariner. Who is the holy mariner of what? Of that ark. Do you remember? Ship. In that ship is his cause. So Baha'u'lláh, when he is alive, he is the holy mariner of that cause. After that, the reign goes to Abdul Baha. After that, goes to Shoghi Effendi. After that, goes to the House of Justice. What is the goal, Tamrat? To take this ark or ship from one port to the next port. Next port is the next stage of evolution, Mehrdad. During this journey, many tests takes place. This is why read that tablet. Some people start to claim. Some people will be thrown into the sea. Do you remember all these goodies? All of this thing tells us, yes, traditions can predict, but how the humanity behaves make those traditions to come true. So Nabil, when Shoghi Effendi is appointed by Abdul Baha, does it mean it wasn't in the knowledge of Baha'u'lláh? Of course it was. Because for Baha'u'lláh, don't tell that Nabil to anybody, especially Azadeh. See, it doesn't really matter for Baha'u'lláh who comes next. He wants someone who can carry this ark. This is why, for you and I, is Mirza Muhammad Ali or Shoghi Effendi. Look at the distinctive feature of Shoghi Effendi with Mirza Muhammad Ali. Shoghi Effendi was absolute nothingness. Abdul Baha Abbas was absolute nothingness. This is why they say the secret to being a Baha'i is to attire yourself with absolute nothingness. Do you understand these things? That is what is called an hour of thinking. Reflection is better than 70 years of pious worship. Any other question before I go to another one?
Thank you.
Of course. Did I help you, Marshid, or I just...
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Any other person? Lillian?
I have a question.
Yes.
In one of his writing, Baha'u'lláh says that this is a day that is not followed by night. هذا يوم لا يعقبه ليل. How you can explain that, please? Thank you.
That's beautiful. See, I didn't know we have 2 Arabs here. Nabil, did you see how beautifully she chanted Arabic?
I love her accent.
I am one of your students, Mahad Faizi, Mr. Riazati.
No.
20 years back.
Don't say that. But it was my honor to be at your service, but I remember you. I remember your critical mind. This is a day which is not followed by night. That is the story. Has it been followed by night so far, Nabil?
No, the chain is totally unbroken.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Now, Nabil, this Mona is not an ordinary woman, so don't try to silence her by something that you tell me. Fahim Khanum, do you remember, Tamra, they say Bahá'í Faith never becomes divided, right? Say yes or no, but be careful how do you say yes and be careful how do you say no. Does it really mean, Mona Khanum, pay attention. Does it really mean the people would not claim Philip? Of course not. Just go on your internet, Tamra. Just put a word Baha'i. You will see it says Baha'i Faith under the provision of covenant, Orthodox Baha'i, this Baha'i. You say, oh my God, Nabil always told me there is one Baha'i Faith. What is going on here? Do you remember that, Tamra? See, I like this loving and frank consultation. And we have to have courage to ask this question, especially if you have youth. You have to ask Bahá'u'lláh, what do you mean by that? And in fact, I first introduced you a book. A book has written by my beloved friend, Habib Riazati, Covenant of Bahá'u'lláh. Read that very carefully. Because in that same book, Mona, that passage of Bahá'u'lláh has been by example shown what does it mean. It does not say, Mr. Tamrat tomorrow becomes unemployed, has nothing better to do, he wants to open up a new religion. It doesn't say that. He says Tamrat has nothing better to do. And then Nabil also just retired. So they become the CEO of a new branch of the Baha'i Faith. Baha'u'lláh is saying, Nabil, you claim, Habib, you claim, Murshid, you claim, but you do not have any basis when it comes into the Baha'i writings. Do you understand? Why? Because Baha'i writings is very clear how you established it religion. The reason, and I'm telling you about my secret, I have gone and investigated all of these people's claims. By God, I went to Missoula, Montana. I actually met some of these people who make the claim. I said, okay, what is your problem? He said, the problem is that I need a guardian. I said, okay, do you have a guardian? I want to believe in your guardian. He says, well, we have this guardian by this name, and most of them, Philip, are European descent. And I was very simple-minded, Nabil. I said, do you know, Baha'u'lláh had some wives, right? Bhutan. We know the name of his wives, right? You have to somehow show me some European wife of Baha'u'lláh that from his marriage, somehow I get somebody who is European descent. That is to say, Abdul Baha Abbas has said who is the guardian. Guardian has to be one of the Aqsan, meaning the branch that goes to Baha'u'lláh, right? And when it is not there anymore, the House of Justice has picked up. So, answer to that question, Mona. This is a day which is not followed by night. in my humble reading of the Baha'i writings, it means the people can claim, the people can create branch, but none of those branches can be proven valid based on the Baha'i writings. Please pay attention, Mehdad. That is different from Shia and Sunni, Tamrat. Up until today, nobody can prove whether Shia is the right successor or Sunni. Why? Because there is no written documentation to say after me Muhammad comes. You see that, Hutan? But because we have a written documentation, for the lack of better word, who comes next, we can easily say, many people can claim, but there is only one, perhaps, dimension to the Baha'i faith that Baha'u'lláh brought, and to me is the one which is headed in Haifa. I don't say it emotionally, I just say it textually. I don't say it because I want to feel good. No, I actually encourage you, if you are an investigator of truth, go and do some investigation on them. The more you do the investigation, the more you realize that there is no light in their tunnel. I hope I helped you, Mona Jan.
Thank you very much, really. Thanks a lot.
Okay, what is next, Mr. Farshad? I don't hear you.
Does anybody else have questions?
How many more hours do we have?
We are at 9 o'clock. We can do another 5 or 10 minutes to finish off all the questions.
Okay. Any questions?
If not, you can just have the.
I have one question.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a question.
Not related to this, but it's related to, I was reading Qayyum al-Asma, and I have a question regarding that. The Bab mentions in many places the phrase Qurratul Ain, and I was wondering if you could expand on that. Does he mean himself? Does he mean Baha'u'lláh? Does he mean both of them? And where does the explanation in the Islamic or the Quranic frame come from?
Beautiful. See, now you are asking a question outside of Iran. I have to charge $50 extra because they only pay me $20, and that is not fair.
It's your fault to encourage us to go read Ocean of Lights.
See, do you know what does Qurratul Ain mean? It means solace of my eyes. Means the one that brings the light of my eyes, because the shine of my eyes. The Qayyum al-Asma is a commentary on Joseph. Qayyum al-Asma is the first work that Baha'u'lláh revealed, Bab revealed in 1844. It was, the first chapter was revealed for Mullah Hussain. And that was the chapter that caused Mullah Hussain to accept the Bab. This book, which is named as the most important work of the Bab by Baha'u'lláh in Kitáb-i-Íqán, which actually is called the New Quran by many, many early believers, has many chapters, and each chapter has 42 verses, and it is a magnificent book. Qurratul Ain. The people who are on this list, majority of them, when they hear Qurratul Ain, they remember Tahireh, right, Hutan? But Qurratul Ain was actually, as I said, the meaning is what, Hutan? Qurratul Ain, the solace of my eyes, means that which creates solace, comfort to the eyes, to my reality. That was a title that was given to Tahireh by Sayyid Kazem Rashti, who was very, very impressed by the knowledge, by the depth of Tahireh, or that your revolutionary woman of the Babism. And then she also was called Tahireh. Who gave the title of Tahireh to Qurratul Ain? Let's see. I have to pick on some of you. Shirin Khanem, ye chizi begu. Who gave the title of Tahireh to Qurratul Ain?
Bahá'u'lláh.
Oh, go for it. No.
The Bab, Bahá'u'lláh.
Very good. See, it is a multiple choice. You do not have that much choice. It's either Bab or Bahá'u'lláh or Shoghi Effendi. So
Bahá'u'lláh.
it is actually originally this title was given to Qurratul Ain by the Bab, and then it was reaffirmed by Bahá'u'lláh. So you are, and we have tablets to prove that. And one of the good book that I recommend you read is Resurrection and Renewal by Abbas Amanat. A section on Tahireh is marvelous. I do not want to talk about the rest of the book, but it's a scholarly book. But that section is good as far as the narrative on Tahireh is concerned. Qurratul Ain, Fahima Khanum,
yes,
is one of the title of the Bab himself, because that is the title for every manifestation, and therefore, because that is the solace of the revelation that God appoints. Do you see that? If you look at the revelation, manifestation of God, whatever it gives us creates solace. And because revelation has been generated by the manifestation, therefore, Qurratul Ain in the first instance refers to Bab, in the second instance refers to Bahá'u'lláh. Okay? I don't charge $50 this time. Okay, next question. Nothing? So,
Mr. Riazati, you didn't explain in this paragraph 272 regarding these 2 letters of knowledge and the rest of 25 letters of knowledge. What does that mean? Knowledge is 25 and 27 letters. What does that really mean?
Okay, Nabil, now we go. See, Lillian knows the answer, but she's pulling a leg. But because she is in the East Coast, we are in the West Coast, she cannot pull it that long. But see, 27 letters? Well, Nabil, you know Arabic. Mona Khanum, you know Arabic. How many letters Arabic alphabet has? 27.
27.
Persian versions have 4 extra letters, right? 32, right, Fahima Khanum?
Yes.
And who was writing that tradition on Arab, right? Contextually. So, in order to show, Merdad Jan inja ro diqqat kon. In order to show progressive revelation, in order to show the intensity of the revelation that appears next, he says, oh, ladies and gentlemen, what has appeared so far by all the revelations of the past, when you want to compare the intensity of the revelation, it is like 2 letters of the 27 letters. Do you understand, Lillian? That is to say that he says by this passage, the revelation that follows, meaning revelation of Baha'u'lláh, as far as the intensity is concerned, as far as the message that it gives, energy that it gives, cannot be compared by what has been done so far. In fact, it wanted to say the power that was invested in the Bab was revolutionary, that no other manifestation until now, because of lack of maturity of humanity, has revealed. That doesn't mean the next manifestation doesn't have anything to reveal. This is only an example, ladies and gentlemen. That only has to be taken in the context which it has been revealed. So in short, Lily and John, that only refers to the intensity of the revelation of the Bab and Baha'u'lláh. Very good. Next question. That was
I have a question actually.
Oh, حسین خان صاحب خواب بفرمایید.
In Farsi, we have 32 letters and 4 extra from Arabic. So it makes 28 letters in Arabic. So what's the 27?
چی شده؟ دوباره بگو.
32 letters in Farsi, right?
بله. 4 تا حساب.
4 of them are extra. They pay che, je, and gaf, right?
Yeah.
So 32 minus 4 is 28.
No, I see. ببین هوشنگ جان، in Hamza and
okay.
There is no
I got that.
alif sakin.
Yes, okay, I got that. Thank you.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Nabil, how did I answer it? There is no alif sakin, means you have akbar. You do not have alif over there. So I think you got the answer. So it's good. Now,
thank you.
Of course. So what is the conclusion that you have to take home? Fahima, can you tell me what do you take home tonight? No?
Yes, that we have to work on our personal transformation, our personal journey, and not just read and follow. We need to be thinkers in order, if we want to be part of this ship of Baha'u'lláh, so to speak, we need to be independent thinkers for ourselves.
Excellent. Another thing, Hutan, can we say another message that these few paragraphs says that not because of what they say that happens to Qa'im, to the promised one, it happened. No, they predicted it, and because humanity did not pay attention to the fundamentals, they took a path that those prophecies came to light. Makes sense? You understand? Ayman John, you see where am I going? Nabil, so what we are saying basically, because they said Qa'im shall be murdered, as you read all these traditions, Baha'u'lláh brings, you read it between paragraph 266 and 283 on your own, and then ask this question, that because those traditions said that Qa'im shall be a youth, it shall come from Persia, because they said it comes, or because it came and their knowledge was vast, therefore they could predict it. So prediction is not the cause of the event. It just shows all-encompassing knowledge of the one who predicts it. Makes sense? And I give you another piece of information, Nabil Jan. This is a very good scholarly research if you want to pick it up. Many people, when they read these traditions, they say why Baha'u'lláh has been selective. Because in fact, traditions are of two types. Some of them say they predict. Please pay attention, Mirza. They say when the Qa'im comes, everybody accepts him, everybody will be good to him, all the learned will accept him. And there is another opposite set of tradition that says no, they go against him. Which lesson do you take home when you see Muhammad predicted it in two ways? Can you say, as Bob said, that when they ask him why the traditions are opposite to each other, he says, no, traditions all outline the possibility of movements. Humanity, based on the choice that they're made, this set of tradition came true. If they have been obedient, other set of tradition would have come true. So the answer to my original question is no, because Shoghi Effendi predicts the future. You should not say because he predicted it happens, because then you take away the concept of free will. Then you take away the concept of reward and punishment. Then you violate the concept of morality and ethics of humanity. Then you actually say that humanity is not responsible for making his own future. While what I shared with you shows us that actually because Baha'u'llah's vast power over the existence can predict what happens in the future if the people choose to go in a direction which is not worthy of their station. Make sense, Tamrat? Tamrat, you have slept a lot tonight.
Yes, I heard you, yeah.
Okay, how many more minutes?